My name is Jimena Arias Cristobal. I am a 19-year-old, a daughter, sister, and an avid runner. On May 5th, I was pulled over for allegedly turning right at a no turn on red sign. What began as a simple traffic stop quickly escalated. I was taken to Whitfield County Jail, where I stayed for 2 days. While I was there, I learned I was being transferred to Stewart Detention Center, where my father was already being held. Before I share what happened during my time in detention, I want to tell you a little bit about who I am. My parents and I came to the U.S. in 2010 when I was just 4 years old. For over 15 years, I've called this country and Georgia home. I grew up in Dalton and went through the public school system from kindergarten through high school graduation. I was an honor student, active in sports, volunteering, and students' clubs. After high school, I attended Oglethorpe University in Atlanta, thanks to a scholarship from the Dream.US. I ran cross country and pursued my education. I later transferred to Dalton State College, where I'm currently working my degree in finance and economics with a minor in marketing. Since kindergarten, I've pledged allegiance to the flag of the United States. My dream is to one day become a U.S. citizen. I was not eligible for DACA, but if I had been, I would have applied without hesitation. What happened to me is not rare. It's part of a growing pattern that is both scary and un-American, and I know I am not alone in thinking that. I live in an overwhelmingly conservative community, yet when I was taken to Stewart, all my neighbors, even the conservative ones, rallied for me. As a teenager, being held in jail, even just for 2 days, was traumatizing. I was surrounded by people who had committed serious crimes, but what left the deepest mark on me was the transfer, being shackled at the wrist, waist, and ankles. That is something I will never forget. It was dehumanizing. And what's worse is knowing that millions of others have experienced and will continue to experience the same trauma. My time at Stewart Detention Center was life-altering. Stewart is a private detention facility known for its mistreatment of immigrants. Detention centers are supposed to be temporary holding spaces while people determine their legal options, but at Stewart, we are treated like criminals. The conditions, the language used towards us, the lack of dignity and compassion, it felt more like punishment than due process. Due process is supposed to mean fairness under the law, but inside Stewart, people are denied the basic right. We are left in the dark about our cases. Legal help was scarce. We were treated not like individuals with rights, but like numbers in a system designed to break us. I was held at Stewart for 2.5 weeks before being granted a minimum bond of $1,500, thanks to my incredible attorney, Dustin Baxter. My time there was short compared to others, but the emotional weight was unbearable. I witnessed mothers, daughters, and sisters suffer daily under cruel and unnecessary conditions. What's happening inside detention centers like Stewart is not just a legal issue, it is a human rights issue. I'm grateful to have the opportunity to share my story, but my story is just one of many. Every day across this country, people, many who have lived here nearly their whole lives, are being detained without access to fair legal representation, without proper care, and without the basic dignity all people deserve. I am not just an immigrant. I am a human being. I am a Georgian, and I am an American without papers. I hope my story opens eyes and hearts to what really is happening, not just to me, but to thousands of others. No one should have to go through what I did. We need a system that reflects our values of justice, dignity, and due process. Instead of arrests and detentions and threats of deportation, wouldn't it be better if we had the chance to become legal American citizens? Thank you so much for listening, for caring, and for taking action.
And thank you for your powerful testimony. Thank you for being here today. You were pulled over for a traffic violation.
Yes, I was one that I didn't commit.
You came to this country at the age of 4.
Yes, sir.
Do you remember the family discussion about coming to the United States?
No, I don't have any memory before the age of 7 or 8.
That's understandable.
Yeah.
So I look at your situation, and there's only one ray of hope in the whole thing. When you say your community rallied around you, even those who were maybe not politically on your side. Tell us about that.
It enlightened people from my community that this isn't an immigration problem, it's a human rights problem. There was a lot of conservatives who thought they were voting to get criminals out of the country and protect the United States. And whenever they saw that a 19-year-old student, active member of the community, was taken to a detention center, they quickly realized that it wasn't the right thing to do and that it was more a human rights issue rather than an immigration issue.
We hear so much reporting about ICE activities, some reactions, demonstrations, and I hope they're peaceful. But we don't hear enough about what you just told us there. This eye-opening experience where people who thought we were going after murderers and rapists and terrorists and mentally ill people who were going to do us harm, and it turns out they're going after a 19-year-old who likes to do running and is involved in school activities and working toward her degree. That, I think, is an eye-opener for so many people. It doesn't make sense. They wanted the members of the gang taken off the street, and instead they went after you. I'm sorry that you lived through this experience.